Hi there, Susan here. Good morning again from Bali. So today I wanted to follow up on the fear of love theme. Um, so what we know is that the research shows us that many of our thoughts and responses are hardwired, okay? That we have been conditioned to certain ways of thinking, certain ways of feeling, and these get hardwired into our brain. So this is like a habit. Okay, when we think of what we do automatically, like if we go to the refrigerator to get something to eat without even thinking, those kind of things are what I'm talking about. That we have these automatic responses that have become hardwired into our brain. And so when we're talking about paying attention to this fear of love, what is it we can do? Well, how can we um, get beyond this kind of fear? So, of course, there are many different ways to do this, many different approaches that you can use. I, of course, love fast track technique as a way to release a lot of these old conditionings that we have all developed over the course of our years. And of course, those of us who are older, have been conditioned for even longer than those of you who are younger. So, sometimes it's more difficult for us to release these. So we can release these kind of old conditionings. And then what? And then what happens? Then what I think is that we have to practice. We have to practice staying in the present. We have to practice paying attention to when we fall back into those patterns, and etc. So, for example, with me, so this issue for me about love and being more open. One thing I've noticed for myself, and it's been actually very, very exciting, is that when I allow myself to feel open to love, my posture changes. And those of you who know me know that I've had a long history of horrible posture. And it hasn't mattered what I've tried. Nothing really has worked. And now, as soon as I got into this issue of love and being open to love and looking at my own issues around this, what happened is I opened my chest, and of course, my posture has totally changed now. It is very, very exciting to me. You have no idea how many years I've spent on thinking, not so much thinking about this issue, but being concerned about this issue. And what was this all about? So now I see that what this posture is has to do with me being open and specifically open to love. So this is an example from of mine. And so what I have to do regularly is I just need to check in with myself. Like, am I being open? I say this to myself, okay, how am I doing? And of course, for me, one of the issues is posture. So if I find myself kind of slumping a little bit, that kind of thing, it's like, oh, okay, I have to remember this, being open to love. And so this is an example of the kinds of things we all need to be doing. We all need to be checking in with ourselves, checking in with how we're doing. Being aware of our issues, of course, is the first step. And then after the awareness comes practice. Can we practice being present to these issues for ourselves? So for me, this is how it works, as the example I just gave you. There are many other ways you can do this. There's, as I mentioned before, cognitive behavior therapy, and that is just being aware of your thoughts. What am I thinking? How am I thinking? If this thought is not a helpful thought, you can ask yourself that. Is this a helpful thought for me right now in the present? And yes or no. If the answer is no, it's not a helpful thought, it's like, okay, we'll stop this thought. I can stop this thought right now. Just say stop. And what's important is you need to replace it with a thought, because otherwise you'll just go back to the old thought. So you need to replace it for with either a positive thought or a neutral thought. Like, I'm afraid of this, stop, not helpful. And let, a neutral thought would be, let me just stay in the present. Let me stay right here, right now, where I am right now. Okay? So that's one way to do it. Another way that I find helpful, and it's a little bit more of a global issue, is the Buddhist idea of mind training. Okay? So this idea is that we have to train our mind because otherwise our mind takes control of us and our mind is in control rather than we are in control. And so mind training is a very old Buddhist tradition that many teachers are using these days as well. And my favorite teacher is Pema Chodron, who's an American Tibetan Buddhist nun. And what I like specifically about her is she really speaks from the heart. Sometimes with the Buddhist teachers, it's very cognitive and very in their heads. And, you know, although it's true, it for me, it doesn't resonate. But with Pema, she really resonates at the heart level. So she has many, many books these days on all of these kinds of issues. And my favorite book of hers, which is an early book, is called Start Where You Are. And that's exactly my point, you know, is we all have to start wherever we are. We have to start with whatever we're aware of, becoming more aware of, working on these issues for ourselves where we are right now. So these are a couple of approaches that can be helpful, and I hope they're helpful to you. Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.